Hey y'all, it's Damo.
This is Ashley, and this is the Black Nurses POV.
Let's get into it. So today we're gonna talk about something a little somber, a little sad.
A little sad, but it's gonna happen to everyone.
One thing we all can guarantee: death and dying.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a very hard subject to talk about with every and anybody, but it's reality.
It is, for sure. I actually had a family member pass away this week.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And it's been a crazy couple days. He passed away at home. We went to see him the night that he had passed away. Seeing him in that environment, kind of in the house, was different than when I see it in the hospital. Being the family member was different than being the nurse. It was interesting though because I got to see like the police response for when things happen. He had like suddenly collapsed. So to know that police officers are trained in CPR and they do initiate even prior to like the ambulance and things coming, that was nice to know. Just the whole process surrounding it. You know, you have all these police cars there, the ambulance, the neighbors coming out wondering what's going on, what happened. The families there grieving. You know, at that time they pronounced them at the scene, so he wasn't a coroner's case.
Okay.
So the coroner didn't come to get him, so they basically had to wait for the mortuary to come get him. You know, and when it's sudden like that, usually you don't have things set up.
Yeah.
So now you're calling around late at night for mortuaries for somebody to just come pick up the body.
Right.
So that it's not just sitting there. So it was definitely surreal to see it from that side.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I had a cousin pass away suddenly too a couple years ago, but it's a lot behind that story. But it's definitely hard when it's sudden. It's very sudden. He was young too.
Yeah, my cousin was young as well.
Yeah, he's like maybe in his early 40s. So that's when it's really hard.
Black man.
Yep, black man.
And it's just like when they fall out suddenly, you know, you automatically assume high blood pressure, stroke, aneurysm, which are possibilities, you know, because a lot of times black men don't go to the hospital.
They don't go to the doctor.
Yeah, until something wrong with that thing. And
yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it. They don't do no regular doctor visits just for checkups. They just
they like, I'm fine.
I'm
cool.
Okay. I'll just lay down. Like, no, you need to go to the doctor.
Yeah, get checked out at least once a year just to make sure like all your labs are within normal limits. You don't have high blood pressure. It's not nothing that you need to be worried about, you know.
Right.
You don't need to stay in the hospital, but for sure get your checkups because there's people out here that depend on you. Like he left behind 5 kids.
Wow.
You know, all under the age of 21.
5 kids.
5. You know, so it's like they're losing that parent. And then if you're the breadwinner in the house, they're losing that finance.
Right.
You know? And it takes time for insurance policies to pay out if you have those.
If you have insurance.
And for us young ones, like, we don't really think about that. We're not going to die young, you know? So it's like something I can get later. But
have it
now, because you never know. You never know how you're going to go.
Just health insurance. Just health insurance for medical, you know, just anything. Just have it. I don't know why people. I mean, I get it. Death is scary, but you're going to have to. We don't know when we're going to go.
Yeah, you can't will death away.
No,
like,
you can't.
That's for sure going to happen no matter how much you
healthy,
take care of yourself.
How healthy
like,
you
it's
are.
coming for us all.
Yeah, one thing you're going to do is pass away. You know, you just don't know how. And it sucks if it's like sudden like that. I mean, it's either
and if
way.
It's young, I think it's usually
young.
like the
young.
age. Yeah, because if it's sudden and you're like 95, you're kind of like, you know, you lived a whole life.
Yeah, but.
You know, but if it's sudden and you're like 13, 17, 25, it's like, what?
Yeah, like what happened? Not you.
Right. Parents aren't supposed to bury their kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and so it was crazy. And it kind of just made me realize how much I compartmentalize as a nurse when it comes to death. How even in that moment, it was almost like an out-of-body experience. Like I showed up as in my nurse mind so that I'm not so connected to it emotionally because It's like, how do you handle that? And then it's my family, so I'm consoling my family. I'm not just consoling a family,
Right.
and I have to follow this grief because these are
Right.
people I'm gonna see on a regular
Right.
basis.
Right.
Whereas in the hospital, it's like
For a
once,
moment.
yeah, for a
Yeah.
moment,
Like,
and then y'all go on about your life,
right. Right.
and the impact that it has. Thinking about all of that, it just kind of brought up so much, for me.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of. I mean, for me, I think I'm desensitized to death,
Mm.
and I think that's definitely with nursing because of the, um, we have a patient pass away. You don't. You send your condolences. You be with the family for a little bit, then you bag them and tag them, and then you on to the next patient.
Right, while the family is still in there grieving this one
Exactly.
patient, I'm on to the next one.
I'm on to the
Like
next one.
everything is normal. Hi,
Exactly.
how are you? How's your day?
Exactly.
We're gonna have a good day today.
Right.
Like
Right. You can't.
what?
Yeah. Literally, your next submission just showed up. You get ready.
Get ready.
Yeah, because you have no choice, and it's definitely. I think nurses definitely desensitize me to death, and it's kind of it sucks, especially when it's family,
Mm-hmm.
because it's certain people like, um, if you see somebody sick, as nurse mind, you'll look at it and be like, okay, I understand if they pass away because
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it. I'm assessing the situation. Like, okay, my family may not understand this, and I'm gonna try my best to say it, but at the same time, it's like you can't really say certain things without people offending somebody,
Yeah.
So it just kind of sucks. It sucks because
In that moment, it's so emotionally high charge. You're not processing things. You're in
no,
shock. Like
yeah,
that's what you're dealing with. You don't even believe this person is gone right now.
right,
And definitely
right,
not the circumstances if it was so sudden.
right,
You're trying to figure out how it get from where we were at the start of the day to here now.
right,
Like I just talked to this person. I just saw this person.
right,
What do you mean?
right.
So I get it in that way. It's very hard to have that conversation at end of life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important to have that conversation when everybody is like able to participate in it.
Right.
So having an advanced healthcare directive,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, where you state out your wishes, what you would want to happen if something were to happen to you, that takes the pressure off your family of having to make that decision
Right.
because it's not an easy decision to make. They're not going to want to take you off life support because they
Right.
don't want to be the one to kill you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. I was actually watching this documentary on Netflix called In Game, and it's basically about hospice companies talking
Mm,
to people that's expected to die
mm,
about transition to hospice, and what hospice does for people you guys don't know, it basically makes somebody comfortable until they pass away.
mm-hmm,
So whether like at my particular hospital, we do comfort care
mm-hmm.
for people, which means we put you on a morphine drip or a fentanyl drip, and then you just slowly pass away. But hospice is it's at home. It's kind of the same thing, but you're being monitored for like 6 months. When they put somebody on hospice, they expect you have less than 6 months to live. So that's why they place you on hospice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hospice is to help put the dignity back in dying.
Hmm.
A lot of people kind of shy away from it because it is dealing with death and dying, and they feel like the process itself is killing the patient.
Yeah, exactly.
And really, it's to kind of make that transition more comfortable for them.
Hmm.
Because if you think about you dying, your organs are slowly dying. So the amount of pain that's caused by those organs dying is something that we can't fathom ourselves.
Right.
So it's like we're not necessarily trying to sedate them in a way that we're trying to kill them.
Right.
We're trying to have them be comfortable enough
Hmm.
to interact with you, to give you that closure as well as peacefully like transition into the next
Yeah.
life.
But a lot of people just don't.
Yeah, it's scary. Death is
It's
scary.
scary as heck. Yeah.
You know, um,
Well, even like with palliative care is it's either when I worked palliative care, is you're kind of in a swing of both. Either you
mm,
can go hospice or you can go home health.
mhm.
Palliative, you're like in the middle of like we don't really know which way you're gonna go, so we're just gonna rock with you until
Yeah,
something else
we know
happens.
like your disease is progressing to the point where eventually you'll need to be on hospice, and probably within the next 2 years or so,
Right,
you're at the like end stages of that disease process.
right,
So we're still gonna do, still treat you,
mm-hmm,
but we're gonna focus more on comfort at this time
right,
and preparing you for that stage so that the family and you are prepared for when that time comes.
right,
I think it's now in the hospitals, even when we do admissions, where we have to talk to you about an advanced healthcare
Yeah.
directive. We have to find out if you have one, and if you don't, we give you materials or have you
Mhm.
speak with a social worker to start the process.
Mhm.
So, advanced healthcare directive is actually a legal form that able-bodied, able-minded individuals can put together to make known their wishes for if they suddenly become incapacitated and can't make their wishes known. It's a document that you work out with your lawyer. You can work out with your family, usually durable healthcare power of attorney, living wills. All of this are kind of intertwined together.
Mhm.
The Advanced Healthcare Directive is different from the post form that most of us are familiar with
Mhm.
in the hospital, which is a physician signed document. And basically, those are for the people who are sick and can't make a decision. They don't have a previous Advanced Healthcare Directive. So the doctor will make a decision based on their disease process at that time,
Mhm.
what their code status or whatnot should be.
Mhm. And most of the time, we go to the hospital. They don't put you full code,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have some, most of you talk to a doctor. That's when you become DNR, would mean they do not resuscitate or anything like that.
Yeah, for the advanced healthcare directives, I believe they are legally binding in the hospital, but emergency personnel, they cannot, they are not legally bound to um, follow the advanced healthcare directive. So if you have an advanced healthcare directive and you don't want anything done, any emergency situation, they still have to get you to the hospital
Mm.
before that takes legal precedence.
So somebody, if they're at home and
Yeah.
they're DNR, they still got to take you to the hospital.
Yeah, that's if they have the advanced directive.
Okay.
If they have the post form that's signed by a physician, then that's
They'll
different.
okay. And
Mhm.
most people that have home health or whatever, they have the post form at home
Mhm.
that I've seen,
Mhm.
and it's a big old pink paper.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's to let the emergency personnel know that they're DNR, and
Yeah.
that's physician order. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
And so it's important for everybody to get that too, because I know a lot of people don't have it. Just even doing the home health when I go see patients, like,
Mhm.
you have advanced directive? No. I'm like, okay, well, you
Yeah,
should
because
get
it's
one.
like, yeah, what do you want to happen?
Because
Because your
same thing.
family will have to make this decision, and for the most part, people aren't necessarily going to be on the same page.
No, somebody gonna be mad.
Yeah, somebody's going to want to keep you alive in a situation that you
Right.
probably should be let go in,
Right.
or vice versa. Somebody might want to pull the plug too soon,
Right.
and you need some time. So, definitely make your needs known. Have this conversation with your family. I know it's not easy.
It's very hard.
But since it's something that we all will have to deal with eventually, it's very important.
Right.
Um, and then we could talk about life insurance because on
People don't
top of
have.
all of
Yes,
that,
and people don't have life insurance.
yeah, having to scramble last minute
And
to
people
pay for
was in
funerals and
in car washes and selling plates and all that stuff. Get life insurance. Like
while
it's
you're missing this person and you probably need the money to handle things financially
exactly, exactly.
outside of the funeral,
Right.
like
It's even outside of your job. You could get life insurance. Like I
mhm.
got life insurance when I was young, before even my job now.
And that's the best time to get it because you usually have to do a medical exam to qualify.
Exactly.
And so the younger you are, of course, you're disease free, so
Mhm.
you're qualifying for more.
Mhm.
The older you get, the less you'll qualify for, so you have to take that into mind.
Right.
The different types of insurance, you have term insurance, which will
Mhm.
give you 30, 40 years. But
Mhm.
if you live past that term, then you got
Right.
to requalify.
Exactly.
So it's so many things. I always tell people to have their um, policies looked at to make sure that it's covering what they need to cover because you
Mhm.
need long-term care, you need accidental death. It's so
Mhm.
many other things that go into insurance that we don't talk about or know to help protect
That's
our
the main thing is
families.
know. Yeah.
Um,
Because I know, thank God for the job I have now. You already know. That
but
be,
see, if something was to happen where you lost that job,
I would
now
be, yeah, yeah, I'll be
so I
toe up.
always encourage people to have policies outside of their
Yeah, I have
jobs.
two.
Yeah,
I have two.
and I
I feel
mean,
like I have
unfortunately
more.
and fortunately, you can get life insurance policies on people that you don't know.
You know, I know some.
Yeah. As long as you got the
I
information. I
must
was
say,
like,
I know a couple
wait.
family members. I'm like, I don't know,
I'm like,
bro.
wait,
You,
how you got a policy on me? Like, no, 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 no,
yeah, yeah.
no.
Don't get a policy on me, but I can get one. Because
Just in case
just in
something happened
case,
to
because
you.
you be reckless, and I just think I don't want to be selling plates and washing cars when you pass away.
For real. And it's real and you see it all the time. Especially with young people, because again, we don't think
Young
about
people,
it. We
yeah,
don't think it's something that we need to worry about right now.
right.
And it is. It's
It's Yeah, I seen somebody selling washing cars or asking for money at the light. Like it was a little girl, like no more than 3 years old, and that was sad.
Yeah,
because you really just don't. But you can't. I mean, you anticipate death, but you can't anticipate
not for
death.
your kids. You
Yeah,
don't expect to bury your kids.
right.
You expect it to progress how it's supposed to. But even then, you can have life insurance on your children as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when they become an adult, they can transfer that over into their own individual. So, you know,
It's a lot. Death and dying is very hard. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's
hmm
really just a lot because even at work we deal with it.
and it's not just in the moment.
It's not in the
I
moment.
wish it could just be in the moment and you forget about it. It's the days after where you driving down the street or a song come on or you pick up the phone to call that person and you can't.
Right, because
You
the cousin that I was telling you about that passed away, his birthday's coming up.
know.
And today, at the gym. I'm on my bike, just getting it. And I looked at the day, I was like, oh, his birthday coming up. And then all my thoughts coming from him, our best
Instant mood
memories.
changer.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, like he was so young. And I before he died, I was asking another cousin, I'm like, hey, where he been? Like, I ain't seen him.
Mhm.
She's like, oh, he good. Like, I just talked to him. He's good. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm gonna see him eventually, because I
Mhm.
always just pop up and see him. But
Mhm.
it's like, nah, the last time I seen him was the last time I seen him, and it's kind of like it hurts because last time I seen him was like 4th of July or something like that, like
Mhm.
a year before.
Mhm.
So it was almost a full year.
Before and you hadn't seen
Yeah, I
them.
haven't seen him.
And it goes like that as adults. Life just kind of gets in the way,
Keep
and you
on
do
moving.
think you have the
Yeah,
time. Like, oh, I'll just see you again. I'll see you again. Like,
yeah,
it's
but you
like you're not
don't.
guaranteed to see that person.
Mm-mm. It sucks. It was really
Can I
bad.
ask a question of the
Yes.
Black Nurses POV?
Yes.
Of
Hello.
course.
Okay. So obviously you talk about insurance, and that's super important. Now, let's say you have a loved one who's older, and they don't have insurance. Would you suggest one of these burial policies for that, where
Um,
they're typically less expensive, obviously, and they're made purely to sort of cover like the expenses associated with that?
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Actually, I'm
reckon?
glad you brought that up because yes, I would. Like I was saying, the life insurance as you get older, it's harder to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't get enough to even cover the burial expenses. So, when you have the mortuary, if you can start making payments on your
Mm-hmm.
burial prior
Mm-hmm.
to you even
Mm-hmm.
passing, so that way that part is taken care
Already
of.
done. Yeah.
And even if you do have a life insurance policy, now your family can take that money and actually do, what they
What they
can
need to
do
do.
with
Mm-hmm.
it, because
Mm-hmm.
that's how they build generational
I
wealth too.
I feel like my grandparents did that. I feel like they already had the plot and everything paid
Mhm.
for before they even passed away.
Yeah, my goal is to try to be completely out of debt, have my burial paid for, and then that way my beneficiaries can actually benefit from the
Yeah.
payout.
Yeah.
Because if they have to worry about all of that other stuff, then they
It
really not.
then I it's just helping.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's definitely
But yeah, burial services and burial kind of plans are good if you are older and you don't have life insurance already set up. I was talking to my mom about that yesterday too. I was like, yeah, we need to start going around and figuring out because you want your, funeral or your afterlife party to be what you want it to be.
right.
So we need to go pick that stuff out.
Yeah. I gotta have a conversation with my parents. I mean, we talked about me and my mom particularly. We talked about she was like, I don't want this, I don't want this. Like she kind of knows, like, hey, just let me go. I don't want to live like
Mhm.
that. So but we need a written form and signed by a doctor and all that stuff
Mhm.
still. My dad, we ain't really talked about. My dad's like one of them health nuts. You
Mhm.
already know. So
He gonna live to
yeah, he's
150.
like, I'm like, Dad, I know you gonna live, but we talk about this before, just in case.
Just in case
Because
for real.
I don't want you to, suffer, and you don't want to suffer like that. Because
Mhm.
certain things people, like I personally, I wouldn't want a trach,
Mm.
and I wouldn't want a feeding tube.
Mhm.
So I know that about myself because I've seen
What can
what
happen?
can happen.
Now for me, I'm like, give me 2 months. 2 months. If there's no like greater
Brain, yeah.
prognosis after 2 months, let me go. But if I'm not in my right mind, if I can't communicate with you, no, let me
No, yeah,
go.
yeah. No, for
But
real.
if I'm kind of with it and there's still
Mm-hmm.
some hope, Give me about 2 months. Let all
Mhm.
the inflammation come
Mhm.
down, all that
Mhm.
swelling. Let's see what happens. But after that, then yeah, let me go.
Definitely if I'm not in my right mind.
Mhm.
If I don't know, if I'm pulling, you gotta put me in restraints and I'm pulling out stuff and I'm not getting better, don't even,
Yeah, let me
because I'm
know.
not me no more.
Mhm.
I worked at a hospital before, and it was all the patients had trachs and G tubes.
Mm.
Trach is a hole in the neck, and that's what they use to breathe. And he was connected to a ventilator, and the ventilator machine breathes for the patient. And he also had a feeding tube. A feeding tube goes directly in your stomach or some part of your stomach, and it gives you like basically like Ensure all day, and it drips in your stomach. That's how you stay with nutrients. So this patient had a trach G tube, bilateral below the knee amputations. So he didn't have no legs after his knees on both. Um, and they were saying, "Oh, he turned 99 today." This patient ain't talked, ain't said a word. He don't. Do he know he 99 today?
Hmm.
If I don't know I'm 99, bro, that don't
If I
count.
can't celebrate with
It's
you,
like, it doesn't
no.
count for me. It doesn't count. It sounds real heartless, but I'm like, if he don't know,
Mhm. Mhm.
does it really count? I'm like, he
Mhm.
can't. He's everything else is making him stay alive. Like, but some cultures don't pull the plug.
Yeah, they feel like it's supposed to go all the way through to natural. But I tell them like artificially something is breathing for them.
Exactly.
Artificially we're feeding them. If we
Right.
took these things out, they wouldn't be able to sustain on their own. So
Exactly.
technically we are intervening at
Right.
this point.
Right.
And so we have to let them know that. Even like in hospice, when it comes to dying patients, the family will want to feed them and make them drink and make them be up. And it's like, no, at this point they're declining.
Exactly.
They don't need all of that. And
Right.
actually, you're probably doing
I'm
worse.
for especially if you're feeding them and
Yeah,
all that
because they can
stuff.
aspirate, and
Yeah, it's like
then
right. There you go. They're gonna die right there.
aspiration is when you take in fluid or food into your lungs,
Hmm.
and it can cause pneumonia and things like that. But
I had a patient. He wasn't hospice. He was just hospital, and they put him on the puree diet. And he was an older black man, but set in his ways like no other. I don't want this. I don't want this. My friend bring me some barbecue, right? And bring me some barbecue. He ate. I was like, hey, do what you gonna do. I can't watch you eat this barbecue. Like I just can't, because I'm gonna have to tell the doctor.
right, I'm
You
gonna have
want to
to throw it
enjoy.
out.
You want to enjoy this barbecue. Just enjoy it. Whatever. Next, he got discharged. Eventually, like a day or two after. About a week or two after, he back with aspiration pneumonia. I'm like, see,
Yeah, sometimes they set in their ways, and I personally, for me, I'm like,
sometimes.
look, they declining. So at
No,
this point, let
yeah.
them have what they
That's
want
why I just
to.
let him. I'm like, if you want barbecue, enjoy your
Enjoy
barbecue.
your life, the rest
Enjoy
of it,
it, best of it,
because
because I don't know how much longer you're gonna be here, and by you coming back with the aspiration pneumonia, it says the doctor was right about something, but you just ain't trying to hear that,
right.
because you want your barbecue. Not me. He was having a fit over this barbecue.
I'm not gonna change your mind in 8 hours.
You want some ribs? No, sir. I don't want nothing that's been at your bedside.
At
No.
all you
You enjoy
it.
enjoy your ribs. Oh my goodness. It was and I seen him. He was like, "Hey, Queen." I'm like, "What you doing back at the hospital?" He's like, "I got pneumonia." I was like,
I knew it.
I knew it. In my head, I knew it, sir. You don't want to listen to nobody but yourself.
Stuck in their ways. I love the patients.
I love older patients. They're because they just don't care.
They don't
They say whatever,
do whatever.
do whatever they want to do.
Like little kids, like toddlers, for real.
No, for real.
Just look straight at you, knock it over.
Like, I don't want this. I'm not taking these
Like,
meds.
why would you do that?
And I'll ask you, why would you do that?
Why?
Did you die? You could have said no. I wouldn't have gave it to you. But
What is that?
oh,
That's not the color of the one that gave
yeah,
you.
exactly. This ain't the same color, but when I take it home, it's the same medication, man.
It's the same one.
It's the same dose, everything. No, they say in their ways they want that blue pill, okay?
That's funny.
Yeah, I love old people. But it's just
Eventually they ain't gonna go. I love talking to them, like, especially during end of life. They like to review their life, go through things, and it's so interesting to hear their transition from when they were younger into where they are today.
It gets interesting because you're like, oh, grandma was out there.
What? Like, oh, you had a whole life.
Yes,
okay?
yes. I miss my grandparents. For me, my mom's mom died when I was 3. both my one grandpa died when I was in 8th grade. I think no, both of them died when I was in 8th grade. And then one died when I was like 25,
Mm.
25, 26. And it was like at 25, 26, it's like I knew my grandma, but it's like I didn't appreciate it. So now at this age, I was like, dang, I wish she was alive, because I for sure would be like, grandma, let's go to Sizzler. You know, like just let me be around my grandma.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do this year, was get closer to my grandparents. They've been able to move out here. At first, they were living down south. Just to have that time with them, to talk with them, to hear their life story.
Because you learn so much.
Learn so much about yourself, your family,
Yes.
things that you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just that wisdom that's there from that experience. That's invaluable.
Yes, yes. I really wish I would have like talked to her more. Like I did go visit her, you know, she lived around the corner from me my whole life. So I talked to her, but like now to have a mature conversation with her,
as
totally,
a woman,
it's totally different. Not a
Yeah.
kid, like, you know, like, because my grandma was definitely, she had both my grandmothers, one had 10, one had 9. Grandma, why? But hey, they was that's what she was doing back in the day. That's what they did. But I definitely wish I would have had more time with my grandmother. Well, both my grandmothers actually, because I know my mom, I heard she's like more spicy, like the one that'll tell people off. I'm like, dang, I'm like, I know I got some of her in me. So
you already know.
I was like, I wish I would have able to have at least one conversation with her, you know. But I do miss
my
that.
grandfather too. You know, I think men's story.
Yeah.
We don't really take value in it, but it's so much to being a Black man and growing through those times and having a family and having your legacy and seeing what you created. You know,
you was good because both my grandfathers had their own businesses, so I know, and they both and they both from Arkansas. Oh, it was country for sure. Like my mom's dad had a cleaning service. My dad's dad has construction business. So they both, you know, hustlers. My grandmother's didn't work. Like I think my dad's mom worked part-time or something like that, but they were like the breadwinners.
Yeah, that's how my grandfathers were too. They took care. They wives were at home.
Yeah, I know my dad's dad was the country. He was country though. No, like eat whatever type of country. Like grandpa, what is that?
That's a coon.
Like a what? Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I don't want it.
No, he had a possum in the pot one time. I mean, he had a possum in the pot, and my grandma opened it. It was a tail floating at the
You be like, I'm never eating here ever again.
I remember he had rabbits in the back. He used to raise them and all that
rabbit
stuff.
though.
Rabbit is good, but when you're 7 years old,
no, not at all.
Like,
why would you do that?
Yeah, no. He was like, "Y'all want some chicken?" We're like, "Yeah." Oh yeah, that's rabbit.
You can kill Bugs Bunny.
Right. We were just playing with him yesterday. Now he's on our plate. But
yeah, it'd be like that.
That's why I love
grandparents
old people.
from the South. What?
I love old people, man. I do. Like, give me an old person any day, and I'll talk to them for hours.
And they'll love it.
They'll love it.
Like, why she wasn't a problem with you?
Right.
I just made some time to talk
to
her.
Just talk to her, let her vent, let her talk her stuff, and how she got it out. Yeah. If you have a grandparent, still spend time with them.
Yeah, spend time with them. Get to know them, to know you.
Yes, most definitely. Because to know where you come from, just your legacy. That's really where it comes from. Because if not, I mean, how else would you know?
Right. Even if it's just health history, because a lot of us don't know our health history, so you don't even know that you need to be watching out for this, or that,
right?
Because
this person didn't have the sugar, and you know,
and the high blood pressure,
For real.
And when they start repeating themselves, just be patient, right?
Yes, yes. Just
let them repeat the same story over and over again.
Just soak it in each time. Just learn it more, because it matters. You know,
they gonna repeat themselves for sure.
Oh yeah, they are. It's cute though. It's super cute.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully that wasn't too sad, but talk with your people about their wishes for end of life. Start having those conversations. It's never going to be an easy conversation, but it's so much easier when they can talk back to you. So,
yes.
We'll see y'all next time.
Yes. See you guys next time. I was trying to look for the class, but I couldn't find it.